Oops, right here. Okay, this is Moshe coming to you from Israel in the Galilee on the 14th of February. It's Friday, 9:51 in the morning. It's cold today, but it's going to get sunny later, in the later afternoon, and we'll hit 61. But tomorrow we're going to hit 67, and then our weather's going to stay in the actually over the mid 60s, like 66 and stuff. So things are going like we could really be coming out of the winter. Although next week, I think midweek or later in the week, they're telling us another 3 days of rain, which I don't know if it'll come to pass. They keep thinking, oh, a big storm, and nothing. I mean, we get drizzles and little rain and stuff like that. So I'm not expecting their wishes to come true either. Unless some events are going to happen, but I'm not so sure of that at all. Okay. Um, so today we're going to cover the more about the evacuation from the Gazans. There's been another statement from Trump that he's, even after Netanyahu says he's settling for 3 hostages tomorrow, Netanyahu said he's still holding to his guns, that he wants all the hostages released by Saturday. So him and Netanyahu could be cooking something up here. He also, in another statement, said it's on the table to put the American military in Gaza. And that could be a result of the Egyptians with the tanks on the border. The latter analysis from people in Israel is that is predominantly to stop Gazans from coming into Egypt. Maybe they're thinking Trump will force it or Israel will force it, or there's probably thousands of them, probably tens of thousands, maybe 50 or 100,000 out of the 2 million approximately, that would love to run into Egypt. Okay. I don't know if Israel received the Moab bombs yet, but I understand they're on the way, so it probably would be pretty quick. How many? I don't know. Now they're leaking rumors Israel intends to attack Iran during 2025. I expect very soon, and I'm going to break that down for you today with Bible prophecy and show you why I say that. And also the Houthis are threatening America and Israel if the ceasefire falls apart. So they intend to hit anything, any American asset in the area. Basically, they don't understand what is going to happen. Now, I just want to clear the record. I saw a video, news tape of the King of Jordan talking with Trump and agreed to taking the hostages. So why Netanyahu said that is a little confusing to me. Is Netanyahu playing a game? Is Netanyahu, not Netanyahu, is Trump believing his own nonsense? Is he doing this on purpose? I'm not sure what's going on. But he didn't agree to it. Egypt didn't even agree to go to the meeting. And then Saudi was like Jordan. He went to a meeting about normalizing relations with Israel, and Trump said it's on the way. And he got back to Saudi Arabia and said it's absolutely not without a Palestinian state. And then Trump said, well, you got plenty, Saudi has plenty of land. Let them build a Palestinian state. I'm going to start calling the so-called Palestinians, which is nonsense word they created. Yasser Arafat created it, I think, in the early 80s or sometime in the 80s. It's silly. They're Arabs. That's what we used to call them, and we'll continue calling them Arabs. Okay? And then the term Muslim terrorists. Okay? Before 1948, Israel was called Palestine. That's what the Yasser Arafat was doing. He was confusing people. But They're not Israel. Okay. All right. So there's a lot of current events we're going to cover. Then we're going to do some Bible work about Egypt in prophecy, go through the prophecies. And what the most important thing to do, whether that'll be done today, is I'm going to show you how Egypt, Jordan, and Jordan said he would make war against Israel if any of these Arabs from Gaza came into Jordan or something like that. So he might make war against Israel if we just export the Gazans. He wasn't highly specific. The whole Arab League is against what Trump is doing. I think it's 53 or 56 countries, all these Arab countries. And if they deviate, they will probably get thrown out of the Arab League. And I think the Arab League is going to militarize them like a NATO, but it'll probably be ad hoc, under the table, and they're going to hit the DOB, daughter of Babylon. But we'll cover that too. So it's going to be a real interesting thing, I guess. Now, the problem I had that I was talking about that reoccurred, I don't want to say what it was because who's listening, got resolved. When I woke up this morning, I got an email resolved. The last problem I have right now is I'm expecting a document that was sent in the mail some days ago and it hasn't showed up yet. And it was in a secure mail. So please pray that I get that document I'm waiting for. I don't want to be specific. We don't have to be. The Lord knows what it is. So please pray I get that. It's just going to be a hassle if I don't. And it's been a long time, but you can wait weeks for a letter to go from Tel Aviv to, the north, but it's not normal, and I don't know why it's taking so long. I'm not sure. I don't know. It's not normal. So I've been praying, and I appreciate it if you pray. All right, let me get into the live stream and make sure we got a live stream and put my posts up while people are coming in and we'll get started. A live stream and everything looks fine. Put my posts up while people are coming in. Okay, I can't talk much when I put my posts up, so here I go. Going as fast as I can. And one more fast post, my email going up. And I encourage you guys to write me, let me know how I'm doing. You could ask questions, prayer requests, thoughts requests, whatever you want. Oops. And there we go. Nope, something's wrong. Sorry. I put the wrong post up. I don't know what that's going to do. There's a way to take it off. Okay. All right, I'm going to do some praise now. There is no God like Jehovah. 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 There is no Messiah like Yeshua. 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 All right, let's start with some of the current events, which, Yeshua told us to watch, so we'll be watching. First, some prayer and toss requests, okay? The first one is a toss request for CC, Charlie Charlie. Toss for CC. Okay, next. For MD, Mike David, MD, Mike David, MD, Mike David. Pray for peace, safety, joy, and success with a diet. So for MD, pray for peace, safety, joy, protection, and success with a diet. Next, JB, Jack Bravo. JB, Jack Bravo. This person's been sick for weeks. I don't know what it is. Who knows? It's a flu-like thing, but lack of strength and energy. So pray for healing for JB with strength and joy and peace. Okay? For JB. All right. All right. Russia is in a deal with Sudan, which is in the Red Sea, kind of north of Yemen on the on the other side. Is it on the other side? Yeah. They're building a base there, and Sudan bites the dust in short-term Bible prophecy. So this is, of course, of interest. Now, they made a deal to build a base, but Russia doesn't have much of a base now. Something is started over there. The other day, Trump asked Jordan and Egypt to warn Hamas in Gaza about the deadline on Saturday high noon. I'm calling it high noon. That's takes back from the early days of television in America, the Westerns, when the gunfighters would meet in the street and have a drawdown, they would often meet at high noon. Big deal. But, the reality of that, it was only one iffy recorded gunfight like that. Hollywood made all that stuff up. They never did that. What the thugs would do is shoot people in the back or just get the drop on them and stuff like that. They didn't go out and have draws like that in the street. That's just nonsense. All the old gunfighters and all that, and John Wayne, Paladin, all I don't know, a million of these shows, Wyatt Earp. They didn't do that. The only way I could explain all the Arab countries not wanting to take the Palestinians in is they know they have to keep the Palestinians there and Hamas there so they could regroup and destroy Israel again later on. These people are living in miserable tents. And they're all saying, well, we don't want them. We don't want them. They're too dangerous. Well, that's not, I don't buy that. If they cared about their brother Arabs, they would take them in. The Arab League would split them up in many countries, so there weren't that many in any country. That's just a falsehood. They don't want them there because they want them to destroy Israel. So it seems obvious, rather obvious, that the surrounding countries around Israel will attack Israel if Trump decides to evacuate the Gazans out of Gaza. That's Zechariah 12. Surrounding countries would be Lebanon, Gaza. Really, Saudi Arabia doesn't have a border, but it's very close. So I think they're going to be in the fracas. Jordan and Syria and Iraq likely. So how the heck is now? Remember when Elam gets destroyed, which is in Iran, so it would be Iran. In Jeremiah 49, that some historians say that Elam includes Syria and Iraq. They have differences. Some say just Syria, just, you know, the Iran area plus Iraq. Others say the Iran area plus just Jordan, Syria rather. So Syria, you know, we know Damascus will be a ruinous heap. So Syria might get destroyed with Iraq and Iran. Okay. Or not sure what'll happen. A possible is Syria decides they want to push Israel out of their positions in Syria and push Trump out of Syria and they get wiped. There's a lot of possibilities. We don't know exactly yet. We know the end result, but we don't know how everything's going to come to pass. We're not told that in prophecy. Sometimes we are, but not this time. We don't know what the trigger would be. The Houthis are not, they are roundabout because they can hit us with missiles, but the Houthis in Yemen is Edom, and Edom in Jeremiah 49 gets destroyed, flattened, like super destroyed. It looks like Gaza. And that's what's going to happen to Iran and all the people in Iran, while they call it Elam, which could include Iraq and Syria or parts of Europe, I'm unsure. The historians are not unified on this. And from Elam, they scattered to all the nations of the world with the sword chases them. That's in Jeremiah 49. Now, the stuff I'm talking about today, some of you that are being taught prophecy from the commentaries and the study Bibles and the churches and the church-favored prophecy teachers and stuff like that, what I'm saying is foreign to you. But what I ask you to do is decide for yourself, read the scriptures, and then ask yourself, is your church teaching you this or not, and why not? Don't you think you owe it to yourself? So I would say read Jeremiah 49. Very importantly, read Isaiah 34, verse 8. Read, what's the other one? Isaiah 63, the first 4 or 5 verses. And ask yourself if your source of Bible teaching ever taught you this and why they wouldn't. It's in the Bible. Okay? It's in the Bible. It's unfulfilled. I know you don't know what the day of vengeance is, and you don't know that it's in the end of the year of recompenses and in the beginning of the year of redemption. And I know it's also in Isaiah 61, the first few verses, although it's called the acceptable year, but the day of vengeance is in that too, so it has to be the recompense year. So the redemption year. And it's also, see, it's the end of the year of recompenses, it's the end of it, and the end of it is the beginning of the year of redemption. You got to ask yourself about this. Okay? You owe it to yourself, don't you? Just remember the scripture, broad and wide is the road to destruction, and many find it. So don't tell yourself because so many churches teach this and so many people follow it that it's correct. Straight and narrow is the correct way, and few be that find it. Don't you want to be one of the few? They don't teach that either, do they? When and if America and or Israel and or other countries attack Iran, do you think it's going to light up the Arab League of 56 Arab countries? And then when Yemen gets it, don't you think it's going to light them up? Because they don't want to live their life under Trump, pro-Israel Trump. See, many of the Arabs, there's their Quran, which I don't believe in, but they do. And then they have a supplemental book, maybe a commentary type thing to it, I don't know. That some Muslims don't adhere to, and many other Muslims do. And that's called the Hadith, or Hadith, or no, Hadith, something like that. I don't know Arabic. I don't give that any credibility either, of course. I think they're nonsense books, but they don't. And what they're taught, and this is predominant in the Shiite Muslims, which is a massive sect of the Muslims, it's basically Shiite and Sunni, and then you got Druze, and you got Alawite, you got Bedouins, and they're all different spin-offs, but the huge ones are Sunni and Shiite. And the Shiites believe that Israel's going to get the Temple Mount and knock down the Dome of the Rock and the Al-Aqsa Mosque and build a temple, and they're going to have a false Messiah that's going to tell them to kill the Muslims, and they're going to kill the Muslims, and they have to fight against this. And this is a big problem. Not a true problem, it's a lying problem, but it's a problem. Now, the leaders of these Muslim states know Satan and they know the demons and they worship them. They don't buy into the religion. They just want the people to follow the religion because it's good for them. Believe me, they don't follow the religion. They're very trans-active, if you get my drift about not following the religion. Okay. If Israel bombs Iran, the Arab states are going to quickly, well, they know now that America's enabling this and backing it up and all that, and probably assisting with reconnaissance and air tanker refueling planes and giving them the Moab bomb to start with and everything else. And this is likely going to be the events that cause these people to turn against America in Jeremiah 50:51, which is mentioned as the daughter of Babylon, but the daughter of Babylon is America. And that is a lengthy Bible study that I can't go through in this video because it would take way too much time. Okay. So Trump might attack Gaza, if all the hostages are not back Saturday at high noon, remember 7 hostages are American citizens, probably as well as Israeli citizens. Dual nationals is extremely common. A lot of Israelis have citizenship from Germany due to the Holocaust, from UK, America, Canada, Australia, Russia, lots and lots of people. So Trump is, to say the least, rather infuriated about this, and he may move troops in because with the tanks on the Egyptian tanks on the border of Gaza and Israel down in the south there, he might feel if he doesn't show a show of force literally on with boots on the ground, the Gaza thing's never going to come to pass. He's never going to get his 25-mile long by 6-mile wide resort on the Mediterranean, and he's going to look weak, and he looks weak already because he's pressuring Egypt and he's pressuring Jordan and even Saudi Arabia, and they're ignoring him. So Trump needs to make a show of force. He said the other day, Uncle Sam is no longer Uncle Sucker. And he's going to demonstrate that. And Gaza is the best place to do it because it's an easy one. Iran's not an easy one, okay? Gaza is nothing. There's 20,000 of those terrorists left. That's it, okay? And it's come out that they have no intention of ever releasing all the terrorists. So what they want us to do is pull out of Gaza completely. This is dangerous for us. They want the Rafah crossing into Egypt open so they can smuggle weapons again. And they want us to rebuild Gaza for them so they can have another fortress to attack Israel down the road. Okay. That's exactly what they want to do. And it's just not going to happen. So Trump is going to light the fuse for the destruction of the daughter of Babylon, but the Lord is using America to knock down the enemies of Israel as well. About 5 or 6 days ago, Trump told us the air defenses Iran has around the nuclear facilities are no more because Israel knocked them down a few months ago. Remember, and I told you it would take a long time to rebuild those, not a week or a month. It would take a lot of time. Let me check the live stream because this is about when the people come in and say horrible things. Oh boy, it's mocking. And that's another marker, so they just get blocked. Yeah, the amount of the lunatics that come in here have nothing better to do with their life than go into live streams and insult people is diminishing. And that's good, but there's always more derelicts around. You know, the very, very big mega channels get so much of this that they have multiple moderators to handle it because it becomes so profound, you know. They get so much of it. So that's all we can do, you know. It's my understanding, and I could be wrong, going back a couple of years, 2 or 3 years or something, that if you keep getting blocked at multiple sites, YouTube disables your ability to post in chats. So the more blocking they get, the more that happens. Although they may have ways of getting new accounts, fortunately, I have no idea. But if they really pop up on the radar of YouTube, they block their IP address. Now, what this means is they have to use a proxy or a VPN to get in. But the problem with the majority of these proxies is they've already been used hundreds of times by other lunatics that like to insult people in YouTube, and they don't work even for somebody that has no track record, with YouTube. So it makes it difficult for them. They can still watch videos, but they can't harass people anymore. So it's a good thing to do that. All right. There's a holiday in Islam, a Muslim holiday, and the name of this holiday is Ramadan. Historically, Ramadan is a rather violent holiday in the Middle East. China forbids it from being celebrated in their country, and I don't think Japan allows this. It's a very dangerous time, and it comes about around March 1st. And I think Israel's going to stay. I don't remember. There was supposedly an extension with the ceasefire with the government of Lebanon, now Hezbollah, and it was through sometime in March. I think it's through the end of Ramadan, which would put this thing in April. I got to recheck it, but there's an extension. And Trump said this, Israel can keep those 5 military posts in South Lebanon, all the time. And Trump is not doing anything about the bases Israel has in Syria. The Ramadan thing is real dangerous considering the end of the ceasefire in Gaza is either March 1st or 2nd. Why do I vary? Because there was a 1-day extension on the start of the ceasefire. So, but it seems to expire right around Ramadan. What they do in Ramadan is, I'll explain this to you, it's kind of interesting, even a little humorous slightly. They fast for a month, okay? The first day of Ramadan is very important to them, and the last week of it or the last day of it is also important. But let me explain fasting to you as they practice it, okay? Because we don't know it as fasting. What we would call it is following the intermediate fasting diet, okay? Basically, and I'll explain it to you. When the sun goes down, they can't eat. No, they can eat. I'm sorry. When the sun goes down, they eat, and when the sun comes up, they don't eat. Ramadan appears at different months of the year all the time. It's an annual holiday, and it could be in a different month. So it's rather easy for them in March because the days are still somewhat short, right? So let's play it out. So let's say you're in the middle of Ramadan. You're in the 10th day or something, right? All right. So the sun comes up at 6:30. So what do? Well, you get up at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, right? And you make yourself 6 fried eggs, 4 pieces of toast, a piece of fish, piece of cake, whatever you want, right? You eat a big meal before the sun comes up, right? Now the sun's up, you don't eat. All right, 6:30 at night, the sun goes down. They have a big meal, a big feast. How hard is that? You pack the food in at night, right? Then before the sun comes up in the morning, you pack the food in again. So how hungry, if you eat a really, really big meal, let's say you had 2 or 3 bowls of cereal, a cream cheese and jelly sandwich, a banana, an orange, juice, you know, 6 eggs or something. You know, how hungry would you be by 6:30 at night? Well, you'd be ready to eat probably, but you wouldn't be hungry. You got how they do it. But this makes them feel holy, and they rub holy all over themselves. And what do they do when they feel holy? Let's kill somebody. Let's kill the Jews. Let's kill the big Satan, America. You know. So this is a crazy coincidence. One more time, when this phase 1 of the Gaza ceasefire expires, and there is going to be no phase 2. Okay, I don't believe Netanyahu or Trump or anybody wants to see us go into phase 2. It's too stupid. They won't give the hostages back. Once we're out of Gaza, it'd be very different, very difficult for us politically with the world to go back in. I mean, that might happen, but I don't think Netanyahu's dumb as a bag of hammers. He's dumb, but not that dumb. Go back in. Again, why bother? So, and they have no intention of giving all the hostages back, is what our intel is telling us, which they probably got from paying off people in Hamas or capturees or people that surrendered. All right, so, or all of the above. Or interrupting or, eavesdropping on communications that they think is secure. I don't know how they got it. But the number I heard was they want to hold 20 hostages. You could probably be rather secure in making a bet, although I'm not a betting person and I don't think you should. You should. I'm just talking slang here, that they're going to hold the 7 American hostages because they want leverage on America. See, that game worked with Biden, but I don't think Trump's going to set the stage to make it apparent to the world that America could be blackmailed and extorted by grabbing hostages. See, Trump is smart, but he's predominantly a businessman, not a warmonger, okay? Not a warrior. But he knows he has to do it at some point. He also knows that if he keeps threatening and never fulfilling, it's going to fall apart. So he basically soft threatened Jordan, Saudi Arabia, and Egypt, predominantly Egypt and Jordan, about taking in the Arabs out of Gaza, and Saudi Arabia about normalizing relations with Israel. And he's threatened Iran that they make a nuclear deal with America and the world, basically, or they're going to get bombed. And he did say by Israel. Trump had a meeting with Modi that seemed to go good, according to the news. It probably did. Modi will be very personable to Trump, but Modi is out for Modi and India. Not. So after the meeting, Trump said he's doing reciprocal tariffs with India. So the taxes that India puts on American goods, which in my opinion, I think, speaking with a little knowledge from somebody in India, it's 20%. He's going to put on goods from India, which I expect there's a lot of stuff. Garments come from India, many things. So that's going to hurt India. Not going to cripple them, but it's going to cause them some problems, okay? And the two of them seem to be cordial. And now Trump is telling us he's going to put reciprocal tariffs on every country. Whatever they charge on American goods coming into their country, he's going to charge to them. in addition to punitive tariffs against certain countries as well. Trump said, watch for the automobile tariffs. Now, let me talk about this for a minute. Automobile tariffs is not going to mean you go down to your local Ford dealer and buy a Ford F-150 pickup truck. As long as it was made in America, nothing's going to change. Status quo. But if any of these Ford or Chevys were made in another country and they brought them into America and they're selling them to you, which is the case sometimes, he's going to smack those with tariffs, which is going to make Ford and Chevy stop using those plants out of the United States to sell cars into the United States. Now, they could still, Ford could use a plant that, let's just pick a country, Brazil, let's say. I have no idea if they have a place in Brazil. And sell it to Argentina or sell it to Germany or Russia, that Trump doesn't affect any of that, okay? But where is this? A lot of that can be serious damage to the American car companies because they got a lot of plants in Mexico. He's going to smack. Now, what is he going to smack on it? Well, Israel puts 100% tax on cars brought into Israel, and they make like nothing in Israel. And if it's a luxury car, like an expensive Mercedes, BMW, or something like that, the tax is 150%. So a $35,000 car in America is $70,000 here. And our income tax is about 50% if you have a job and you're working for a company. And our sales tax or import tax, same thing, is 17%. And gasoline's $9 a gallon for diesel. You can imagine what life is like here already, can't you? Okay, now, I think there's going to be some damage economically that's going to go into politics immediately. And remember, Japan and China both the other day started selling their U.S. bonds. They call them treasury certificates, U.S. bonds. Japan has Toyota, Nissan, Mitsubishi, Honda. I might have missed Lexus, I think. Maybe I missed one or two. Plus Yamaha and Honda motorcycles. It's going to apply to those too, I believe. They get slammed with a tariff on those cars that come from Japan. Now, Japan and BMW and other companies, Mercedes too, manufacture in the United States. So the cars they manufacture in the United States are absolutely not going to be affected. Okay? South Korea has Hyundai. What's the other one? Kia. Anything else? I don't think so. And they're going to be affected, and I'm not sure if they have plants in the U.S. or not. I don't know. China sells a pittance of cars. They do sell some trucks. They sell stuff in the United States, but I don't think it's huge. Mercedes, a lot of the product line, I believe at the high end from Mercedes is not made in America, so that's going to go up. I guess Trump will do at least 25%, if not 100%. I'm thinking 40, 50, 60%. I don't know, though. It's going to, I would say at least if he does 10%, it's not going to change anything. 25% is going to begin to slow it down. If he does 40, 50%, it'll be painful. Then you have Volkswagens, which I think are made in Mexico. They'll be affected. They may have a plant in America. I don't know. It's going to cause the car manufacturers to expand production in their American plants, which is what Trump wants, because it makes jobs. Okay. And what a Fiat from Italy, France has Citroën. There's another car made in France. I can't remember the name. England, I believe, has Range Rover, Austin, which is not a big seller. Um, Rolls Royce or Bentley is made in England. I don't know where they are. Maybe both of them. No, one I think is made in Germany. I can't remember which one the other in England. Then you got BMW. Again, I think it's the same thing. The high-end BMWs are probably not made there because they make very few of them. Other cars like Skoda, which I think is Sweden, is going to be minimal impact, I think. Um, this type of thing. Okay. Um, so we could say, yeah, it's going to cause Americans to pay more for their cars, but that's not what Trump's going after. What Trump is going after is don't buy those cars, buy America. Back in the days of World War II, probably up until the mid or late 70s, people would say, buy an American car, you give a guy a job for a week. And it was a lot of anti-foreign car conversations with people. If you bought a Mercedes, why'd you buy a Mercedes? Give a guy a job. Keep it in America. See, it fell away, though. So that's going to be interesting. It's not going to be a massive impact on America because people are just going to buy American cars more than the foreign cars. Somebody that really, really wants a special BMW that costs, $114,000 today, and it becomes $149,000, they may still buy it anyway. But these are car aficionados. These are, not regular people. Ferrari, so I think an entry level Ferrari is probably about 400,000 or something. So if they got to pay $550 for it, they're gonna buy it anyway. The same with the Rolls Royce and the Bentley and stuff like that. They're gonna buy it anyway. So I do not know if Trump is going to bear down on Gaza on Saturday. I don't know. Yesterday, the idiots in Gaza shot a missile at us that was damaged previously from an Israeli attack, and the missile landed inside Gaza and killed a 14-year-old boy, and then Israel returned with more attacks on Gaza, and then stopped. Now, if that's not a break in the ceasefire, them launching a missile, I don't know what in the world would be. So, this ceasefire is held together by spit and bubble gum right now. And I think Trump's going through with the Saturday thing because it's bad politically to break the heart of the people that are expecting the 3 hostages. So he's doing that, but I don't think he's going to go. I think it's going to blow up after Saturday, but let's see. It could blow up because Trump starts slowing him down. Trump won't do anything till the 3 hostages come back. Trump laid off 200,000 federal employees, 50,000 of which were on probation. So when you get a federal job, they often, or I think always, put you on probation for a year. So you really don't have any job protection for the first year. If they don't like you, they just let you go. There's no recourse. There's going to be a ton of these 200,000 people suing the federal government. Some judge might say that it was an illegal layoff. Oh, who knows? But trust you can rest assured Trump made more enemies. The U.S. saying that Israel can keep the 5 military positions they have in Lebanon and South Lebanon is definitely going to irritate Hezbollah. And the ceasefire that I understand we concocted to extend it was with the Lebanese government, not Hezbollah. So Hezbollah is probably going to pop their cork. I think they'll stay calm until, as long as the Gaza ceasefire is in effect. Netanyahu is destroying the real estate in the West Bank cities where the terrorists are active and trying to open a front against Israel, which they have opened, but it's a rather small front, very small. So they evacuate them out of the city. They got nowhere to go. We're getting reports that houses are being burned by soldiers and stuff like this. So we're bombing houses, and it's going to be Gaza all over again. They got nowhere to live. But where are you going to put them? Maybe Trump told them, go bomb the houses. We'll shove those out with the people from Gaza. A handful of U.S. senators said Hamas can't retain any military or political control of Gaza, which I believe is consistent with the policies of Trump. Trump wants that resort. Trump's tax plans are anything but idiotic. He's rather bright in this department, and they would definitely help America. And they're also going to cause difficulties with American allies big time, and the American citizens that don't like what he did. Now Trump says he wants the chip business from Taiwan to come back to America. He's basically saying they took it away or stole it, or worse, I think took it away. I don't remember. And he might let China have Taiwan. He might. Why? Trump's looking at it to save Taiwan. It's going to cost America what? $900 billion, $1.5 trillion in a war, right? Many soldiers will get killed. American homeland likely get hit. American military equipment be expended and destroyed. And Taiwan might wind up looking like Gaza at the end of it. It could happen. So Trump's sitting there thinking, what the heck do we need Taiwan for? Where'd it go? China will be happy for years to come over that one. Now, Japan and South Korea could be a different story with Trump. But if he gives China Taiwan, they'll probably not be very pushy about South Korea and Japan for a while anyway, and the Philippines. So he sells Taiwan out. Now, when they invade Taiwan, Taiwan said they're going to blow up the chip factories in other places. They already have the explosives in place. Sort of like on an American ship during World War II, if they got hit by artillery or torpedoes and they had to abandon ship, what they would do is they had charges in the ship. Typically, they had a timer. They'd set it for 15 minutes or something, 20 minutes or whatever, and they'd abandon ship, row their rescue, inflatable boats or rowboats or little wood boats away from the ship, and the ship would blow up in strategic locations and sink. That's what they did, and then they would usually take their code books and things like that out of the safe and burn them. They didn't have shredders; they'd burn them, and then they'd just sink the ship. You know, um, it's interesting. Now remember that Iran and Yemen are not on Israel's borders, but they are a thorn in the side of Israel, but they get destroyed. And I think they get destroyed before Zechariah 12, which is close. Okay? The missing pieces for Zechariah 12 are Syria, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and Jordan, and they seem to be coming together rather rapidly thanks to Trump. How does it work with Trump putting troops in Gaza? Well, I don't know yet, but the standard approach would be to land on the shores and march in with air support, you know, probably an aircraft carrier. The aircraft carrier Truman in the Red Sea had a collision with a civilian merchant marine vessel that was 616 feet long. How the heck that happened, I don't know. I have no idea. People were saying it was an Egyptian ship or something, but they don't know what the damage was to the Egyptian ship, but the damage to the Truman aircraft carrier was very nominal. I don't know how that happened, okay? And while we know there's a lot of plane crashes going on that are mysterious, like colliding on runways and other stuff like that. So I don't know how you could collide on a runway either, because when you're on a runway, you're not using your instruments, you're using your eyes. Oh, I don't know. I think it was just the captain screwed up. The Navy used to have a policy if the captain, hit another ship or hit something on land, he came in too hard and hit the pier. They wouldn't let him be a captain again. It would be the end of his career as a captain. They wouldn't throw him out of the Navy. He'd get a desk job somewhere. Or maybe they'd bring him down a rank, or who knows what they do with him. But if he was at retirement age, they'd probably ask him to retire. They'd tell him it's the best thing. I don't know. That's what I think they would do. But they don't. They don't give him a ship again, or if they did, it would be a long time. I would be thinking years. Somebody made a special request on email that I'm going to honor. I'm going to do the Kohanim blessing. Gotta remember the verse. Let me see if I remember it. it's in Numbers. Maybe it's 24. I don't remember. I gotta look for it. It'll be in there. Let me get the verse. I can't. I got so much prophecy verses in my head that I can't. It's only so many verses I can remember. Um, I'll get it. Yeah, I had it right. It was number 6. I didn't get the right verse. Okay. I didn't go far enough. Now I'm a Kohanim, descendant of Aaron. I have the Holy Spirit. I live in Israel where it says He accepts you. So I'm going to do this for real for all of you that are true believers, um, or members of Israel bloodline. Uh, no, I'm just going to do it for the true believers in Yeshua HaMashiach. No, I'll do it to everybody that God wants to honor it for. How's that? All right. So I can do this for real, and I'll do it for all of you that are watching it now and all those that watch it as a video that God considers worthy to have it apply to you. Okay. Number 622. This is for real. And Jehovah spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron and unto his sons. I'm a son of Aaron, many generations removed, saying, On this wise you shall bless the children of Israel, saying unto them, Jehovah bless thee and keep thee. Jehovah make his face shine upon thee, and be gracious unto thee. Jehovah lift up his countenance upon thee, and give thee peace. And I put the name Jehovah upon the children of Israel, and Jehovah will bless them. B'Shem Yeshua HaMashiach. Do all things in the name of Yeshua. That was a very good request, so I honored it. Okay. Back to where we're going to go now. So since Egypt has troops at our border, which I don't think Netanyahu is doing another October 7th or anything like that, because our military is very, very activated in that region, extremely so. So there's not any chance of that. But let's go to Isaiah 19, and we'll study Egypt in prophecy for these days. 19. We'll start one. Oh, I wound up in Jeremiah. Sorry, that's the iPad. I got big fingers, and you hit the thing, and you get the button next door. All right. The burden of Egypt, and Egypt in Hebrew is Mitzrah, which you could call misery. Mitzrah in Hebrew. In Yiddish, which is not a biblical language, but when I grew up, my parents spoke Yiddish to the grandparents. the older relatives, but they didn't want me getting into Yiddish very much. But after you're around it your whole life, you'd be surprised what you know what you learn. Okay, so it says Mitsurai. And the Yiddish word for trouble is tsuris. Says he. A lot of Yiddish comes from Hebrew. It also comes from Russian and Polish and German. Very confusing language. For insulting people, it's, you know, one of the best languages in the world. They have such creative things. They have one, Gay Kakanaf and Yan. Now, Afin is like the Hebrew word for the sea or the ocean, Yam. I'm not sure if it's pronounced Yam. I think it's with an N, not an M. And what it means is go poop in the ocean. Yeah, it's really creative, you know? I mean, how would you think of something stupid like that, you know? All right. So, in other words, in English, you'd say get lost. So instead of saying get lost, they say get cocked up, you know? Okay. I don't know if it's really it's not really dirty. I mean, you know, the backdoor waste product is spoken of in the Bible in many places, you know, from animals mostly, but also from humans. Anyway, let's keep going. I mean, what was it? Ezekiel was told to eat poop and eat from people, and then he got it to change to animal. The Lord changed it. Okay. The burden of Egypt, behold. I don't know how I go off on that. Maybe I never should. I'm sorry. Forgive me. But it is in Ezekiel. Anyway, the burden of Egypt, behold, Jehovah rideth upon a swift cloud. Well, could this be when Yeshua comes down on the cloud, seated on the right hand of power, which is Jehovah? And his enemies are not yet his footstools, so he's still seated at the right hand of God the Father. So when this happens, his enemies are obviously not Yeshua's footstool. Yeshua's enemies are not yet his footstool because Jehovah's dealing with his enemies. Did you follow that? The burden of Egypt, behold, Jehovah rideth upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved. I don't know about that word moved. Let's find out what it really means. Nua. It doesn't mean demolished and leveled to the ground. It means shake. What are some of their idols? Well, the pyramids and those other things that got like the head of a lion, you know, crouched down like a pyramid thing, you know. And they probably have others. And the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence. At the heart of Egypt, and let's check that word. It should be lev. No, let me double check. That's not the right translation. The word for heart is lev. This is not lev. It's well, no. I mean, it could be. It could be lev. It could be a word for lev. Yeah, it could be lev. Okay. Shall be moved at his presence. They pronounce the words wrong. A vet and a vet they mix up. So it said didn't say lev. It said leb or something. Anyway, but yeah, I think it's lev. At his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it, whatever, in the middle of it, I guess. And I will set the Egyptian against the Egyptian, and they shall fight everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor's city, against city and kingdom against kingdom. So we're not getting the idea that, well, when is the timing for this? But this is not giving me the idea that Egypt invades Israel in these days. Does it give you that idea? Probably not. And the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof, and shall seek to the idols, I guess they get it, and to the charmers, the witches, and to them that have familiar spirits, witches, and to the wizards. Let's say there was some woman that died, okay, and she was a witch and she had a demon. She was the favorite witch, so they gave her a demon, and she loved this demon. She died, right? Now the husband misses her. He's a dumbbell, so he goes to a fortune teller and wants to contact the woman, right? Well, they find the demon that was in the woman and knows all about the husband and knows all about the woman up until the time of her death. So he communicates with the demon in the fortune teller, and she knows a lot of stuff about the husband and his wife and their prior life, and she bleeds them for as much money as she can get out of them. That's how these fortune tellers work. That would be, in my opinion, a familiar spirit, familiar with the husband and the dead wife. I'm in Isaiah 19:4. And the Egyptian will I give over to the hand of a cruel lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith Adonai, Jehovah of hosts. So it's Lord Jehovah of armies. It's a better translation. So could this be Al-Sisi, the half-Jewish leader of Egypt for many years? Yeah, I think it could. He's a big jackass, you know? The Egyptians don't live well under this goofball. All right. And it could be, I think it is. And the waters shall fail from the sea. What's the word? Yam? Let's see. No, that's from Yam, from the sea. Let's keep reading. And the river shall be wasted. That would be the Nile, I believe. And dried up. And they shall turn the rivers far away. Now, this is the problem with the way they write these translations. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got 8 words in English for 2 Hebrew words. Let me tell you what the real words are. It means push aside the stream or the river. You know, push aside the river or the stream. Say river, so push aside the river or the stream. It could be the stream. Streams off the Nile, okay? That's all it says. And they add all this in. It's like the Living Bible. It's, you see, all the English translations are like the King James. It's screwed up. And the brooks of the fence shall be emptied and dried up. The reeds and flags shall wither. The paper reed, it's not turning to blood. It's drying up. Jehovah's doing it, I guess. He could do it at whatever time frame he wants to. The paper reeds by the brooks, by the mouth of the brooks, and everything sown by the brooks shall wither and be driven away and be no more. So the stuff growing is just going to dry up. The agricultural stuff. The fishers, and that means what it says, shall, let me just check. Yeah, we wouldn't say fishers, we'd say the fishermen, or to be politically correct, the fisher people. Like in New York City, the cops had a badge that said if you were a basic cop, it said patrolman. And then to be politically correct, they changed it. I think they say police officer now or something like that. Or patrol person. I think they say police officer. The fishers also shall mourn, and all they that cast angle, that's probably a hook, a fish hook and angle, right? Into the brooks shall lament, and they that spread nets upon the waters shall languish. So this is all the different types of fishing techniques or approaches to it. Moreover, they cast the angle, spread the net. Yeah, different types of fishing practices. Moreover, they that work in fine flax. From flax you make linen. That's a very expensive, desirable fabric. And they that weave networks shall be confounded. I guess that means weaving fabric into sellable products shall be confounded, and they shall be broken in the purposes thereof. All that make sluices and ponds for fish. So they get the fish to go off a tributary of the Nile into a dead end pond that's not that deep, or where they could, just grab the fish or get them trapped in fish traps or catch them in nets or whatever, right? Today, what they might do is put them in a dead end pond and just throw dynamite in there and kill them with percussive force and then go pick them up or something. I don't know. But this is more sedate and it doesn't destroy the fish or the pond. The dynamite surely would. Surely the prince of Zoan are fools. That is, this is a place in Egypt. I don't know if it still exists. It did. It's referencing Egypt. Are fools. What's the word for fools? Avil. You could go with silly or fools, yeah. The counsel of the wise counselors of Pharaoh. That's just referring to the leader of Egypt, which would be El-Sisi now, is become brutish. What's that word? I don't think it's translated correctly. Let's see what Strong says. Yeah, it could be brutish. Like a fiery person or something like that. I don't think he's burning up. I think it's brutish or something like that. A big bad bully, brutish, right? How say you unto Pharaoh, I am the son of the wise, the son of the ancient kings? Where are they? Where are thy wise men? And let them tell thee now, and let them know what Jehovah of hosts hath purposed upon Egypt. The princes of Zoan, it could be the head of the big corporations, the mucky mucks in the governments, the cities, the states, the national government, stuff like that, are become fools. The princes of Nauf, back in Egypt again, another place, are deceived. They, probably by unclean spirits, they have also seduced Egypt, even they that are the stay of the tribes thereof. There's a lot of words added in here. I don't trust this. Let's see what it really says. would mean they're the chiefs. And then the next word is Shabbat, and it's like a fighting stick or a punishing stick, like to hit somebody with a rod. So they really missed it. I don't know why they put the word tribes in. All right, next is 14. They're probably trying to confuse people, thinking it has something to do with the tribes of Israel. It doesn't say what they say it says. Jehovah hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work. Thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. Neither shall there be. Let's check that word here. Yeah, looks okay. Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or the tail branch rush may do. So they're heavily unemployed. Their industry is gone, probably from the water of the Nile drying up. They're heavy in fishing over there. And we get their fish here. It's nice fish. We just get the clean, the supermarkets are all kosher, so they follow the rabbis, so we only get the mosaic or clean fish, but the stuff I've had is pretty good. They get, I think, Nile perch is a popular one that comes in. It's frozen. It's not bad. Me and my wife are going to start eating more fish with our carnivore diet. We're going to be eating fish more. She said that she tried that in the past as a carnivore diet. She says, "Oh, you get hungry a lot." Yeah, fish goes through the system pretty quick, but I don't know. Be fun. In that day shall Egypt be like unto women, and it shall be afraid and fear because of the shaking of the hand of Jehovah of hosts, which he shaketh over it. Now, I don't know if it means this or worse. It's not good for them, believe me. Any way you slice it, it's horrible for them. Very bad. And the land of Judah, that's the land we have now, shall be a terror unto Egypt. Okay, now we got to be careful and make sure it says what it says. Okay, let's check the word for land. It's not ha'eretz, it's saying the earth or the ground. And let's make sure Judah, okay, that's correct. Shall be, I don't know, become. Let's check that terror word. Chaga. What is Strong throw this into English as? It's accurate, fear of terror unto Egypt. Everyone, how did they do this? Everyone, it's not everyone, it's all. All that maketh mention thereof shall be afraid. And what's that word? Pachat. Yeah, fear, tremble. Okay, we'll go with that. Afraid in himself. unto himself, we would say. Because of the counsel, yeah, maybe you can do that, okay, of Jehovah of armies, which he hath determined against it. In that day, is that the same Zechariah 12th day? Maybe. Looks good. In that day shall, maybe not, I don't know. Shall 5 cities in the land of, I don't think it is, shall 5 cities in the land of Egypt speak the language of Canaan and swear to the Lord of hosts. Now, I'm not so sure that's Hebrew. And swear to the Lord of hosts, one shall be called the city of destruction. In that day shall there be an altar. Yeah. Shall there be an altar to Jehovah in the midst of the land of Egypt, and a pillar at the border thereof to Jehovah. It shall be for a sign and for, you see, this is, you got to put this together as a 40-year captivity. I think here we're up to post-tribulation days. That's what I'm thinking, okay? With this, pillar and altar. And it shall be for a sign and for a witness unto Jehovah of armies in the land of Egypt, and they shall cry unto Jehovah because of the oppressors, and he shall send them a savior. Let's check that word. Yasha, a salvation. That's what it means. And a great one. Much great. Deliver them. I expect this is on final looking. I don't think it's the two witnesses or either one of them. I think it's referencing Yeshua here. The two witnesses don't deliver salvation. Yeshua does. Shaliach, that's a messenger word. That's not a send word. So he's saying Shaliach Yasha. So that's a messenger of salvation. Could be the two witnesses or one of them. Yeah. A shaliach is like a FedEx driver, a messenger. And the word for savior is Yasha. So it's a messenger. It's not send. It's saying a messenger of salvation. So that could be Elijah or Apostle John. A great one, and he shall deliver them. Okay. Get them saved is probably what it's talking about, I'm guessing. And Jehovah shall be known to Egypt, and that could be after the great one. Okay? And Jehovah shall be known to Egypt, and the Egyptians shall know Jehovah in that day, and shall do sacrifice and oblation, yea, they shall vow a vow unto Jehovah and perform it. So they're going to make vows and go through it. They're not going to go weak and punk out, you know. And Jehovah shall smite Egypt. He shall smite and heal. Let's check the word for heal. Rapha, yeah, that's a medical type word. Yeah, heal. And they shall return. Let's check them there. Shub, yep, spot on. Return even to Jehovah, and he shall be entreated of them, and shall heal them. Entreated. I think that means he's gonna listen to their prayers or something like that. Now on verse 23. In that day, that's this particular day, shall there be a highway out of Egypt to Assyria, and the Assyrian shall come in Egypt, and the Egyptian unto Assyria, and the Egyptians shall serve with the Assyrian. This, I believe, is your, the Gog and Magog era, probably after it or before it. It's not for today. In that day shall Israel be the third with Egypt and with Assyria, even a blessing in the midst of the land, whom Jehovah of hosts shall bless, saying, Blessed be Egypt, my people, and Assyria, the work of my hands, and Israel, my inheritance. Okay, so now we'll go into Ezekiel 28. I mean, there's several other prophecies of Israel, but we pretty much established that we're not going to see an invasion from Egypt and getting killed and demolished here. I would have been there. I would have seen it. Would have been in there. Let me go into the live stream and make sure we don't have people cursing us and stuff in there. No, we're looking good. Okay, Ezekiel 28. The word of Jehovah came again unto me, saying, Son of man, say unto the princes of Tyrus. Now, this is very useful information because that's Lebanon. Okay? Tyre, Tyre today, but it's in Lebanon. It's pretty far from the border with Israel. Not that far, but it's up there, not in the south. Thus saith Adonai Jehovah, because thy heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am a God. Now, this is, as you're going to see, this portion of Ezekiel 28 is really talking about Satan. Okay, but we'll read it. It's lifted up, and thou hast said, I am El, which is the Aleph Lamed God word, I sit in the seat. El is singular God, Elohim is the plural. Like Sheba is 7, Shavim is 75, is Hamesh, Hamashim is 50. It makes it into a plural type thing. I sit in the seat of God, but with the numbers it means you add a 0. That's Hebrew. Okay, I sit in the seat of Elohim in the midst of the seas, yet thou art a man and no God, no El, though thou set thy heart as the heart of God. Behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee. With thy wisdom and with thine understanding thou hast gotten the riches, and hast gotten gold and silver, into thy treasures. By thy great wisdom and by thy traffic hast thou increased. Word for traffic 7404 Strong's. Trading in merchandise, I guess would be it. Thou hast increased thy riches, and thy heart is lifted up because of thy riches. Therefore, thus saith Adonai Jehovah, because thou hast set thy heart as the heart of thy God. Behold, therefore I will bring strangers upon thee, the terrible of the nations of the heathens, and they shall draw their swords against the beauty of thy wisdom, and they shall defile thy brightness. They shall bring thee down to the pit. Thou shalt die the deaths of them that are slain in the midst of the seas. This is what happens to Satan. It's consistent with Isaiah 13 into 14. Wilt thou yet say before him that slayeth thee, I am God, but thou shalt be a man, and no God in the hand of him that slayeth thee. Thou shalt die the deaths of the ancients. No. Die the death of the uncircumcised by the hand of strangers, for I have spoken it, saith Adonai Jehovah. Moreover, the word of Jehovah came unto me, saying, now I'm in verse 12 of Ezekiel 28. Son of man, take up a lamentation upon the king of Tyrus. Say unto him, thus saith Adonai Jehovah, thou sealest up the sum of wisdom and perfect in beauty. That's Satan before he got busted up and kicked out. Thou hast been in Eden, that's the Garden of Eden, the Garden of God. Every precious stone was thy covering, the sardius, topaz, and the diamond, the beryl, the onyx. We don't read of the diamond very much in the Bible, by the way. It's not considered one of the most popular ones. It's really the colored stones, you know. The diamond, the beryl, the onyx, the jasper, the sapphire, and the emeralds. And the emerald and the carbuncle and gold, the workmanship of thy tabrets and of thy pipes. The pipes is where he sings with. But see, all these stones are colored stones. Now, the really fine diamonds today have color in them: pink, yellow, green, red. These are very likely the diamonds he was referencing, not the clear see-through. The whole diamond thing's a scam, you know. For years now, they've been making synthetic diamonds in laboratories, and you can't tell the difference with any diagnostic tool between a lab-grown diamond and a real diamond. And the lab-grown diamonds are probably 1/20th or 1/25th or something of the price of the real ones. So the real ones are a waste of money. And the other thing is that in the synthetic ones, they put a microscopic mark inside it, a number or a serial number or something, to let people know it's a synthetic, and you need a loop to see it. But the human eye wouldn't spot it even if someone put it right up, in your face, you wouldn't pick it up. Now, how do you know that people like in China or in India don't make a lot of these diamonds without putting the numbers in the market and they just sell them as real diamonds? Oh, they're very honest, ethical people. They wouldn't do that hogwash. So diamonds are an absolute stupid investment in my book. Okay, that has been we got that. Now we're in and of thy pipes and in the day that thou wast created. God saying He created them in a day. But Satan's, we would say he's a lunatic, like Muslim terrorists. He's a nutbag, a crackpot. Thou art the anointed cherub that covereth, and I have set thee so. Thou wast upon the holy mountain of God. Thou hast walked up and down in the midst of the stones of fire. Thou wast perfect in thy ways from the day that thou wast created, till lawlessness was found in thee. Back to the law again. By the multitude of thy merchandise, they have filled the midst of thee with violence, and thou hast sinned, therefore I will cast thee as profane out of the mountain of God, and I will destroy thee, O covering cherub, from the midst of the stones of fire. Now I'm in verse 17. Thy heart was lifted up, because thy beauty thou hast corrupted. The previous verse, he's talking about him getting thrown out of heaven. And God was prophesying that. And thou hast corrupted thy wisdom. By reason of thy brightness, I will cast thee to the ground. I will lay thee before kings, that they may behold thee. That happens in the pit. Thou hast defiled thy sanctuary by the multitude of thine lawlessness. By the lawlessness of thy traffic, therefore will I bring forth a fire from the midst of thee, it shall devour thee, and I will bring thee to ashes upon the earth in the sight of all them that behold thee. All they know thee, all they that know thee among the people shall be astonished at thee. Thou shalt be a terror and never shall thou be any more. Again, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Zidon. Now, Zidon is north of Tyre, in other words, Lebanon. So this is real interesting about Lebanon, right? And prophesy against it, and say, thus. So now we're out of the Satan piece of it. We're into another one. It'll be interesting. And this is verse 22. And say, thus saith Adonai Jehovah, behold, I am against thee, O Zidon, we could assume Lebanon, and I will be glorified in the midst of thee, and they shall know that I am the Lord, which is basically saying, Ani Jehovah, I Jehovah. When I shall have executed judgment on her, and shall be sanctified, that's kadosh, holy in her. The word in her is added in. It's basically saying Kadash. I'm sorry, not Kadash. Kadash. Kadosh. No, Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh. I'm trying to use their pronunciations are wrong. It's confusing me what they write. Okay. Kadosh. Okay, holy. And the implication is they'll see Jehovah as holy, I suppose. For I will send unto her pestilence, and that could be, whoa, a lot of different things, plagues and stuff. And blood, well, that's, you could say hemorrhagic fever, but I would say the sword. Hemorrhagic fever, no, I was just kidding around. The sword into her streets. That's a war type thing, civil war. And the wounded shall be judged in the midst of her by the sword upon her on every side. So she's got a dim future. Every side would be Turkey, Syria, and Israel, and water, which I don't think counts. They're already, Syria and Lebanon are already fighting at their border with artillery and gunfire and everything else. So that's very interesting. The Hezbollah faction in Lebanon can't stand the HTS government in Syria, the new government. They have a border fight. It could develop. Very interesting, right? Maybe they make Damascus a burning heap. I don't know who does yet. We'll have to find out. But it'll happen. For I will send unto her pestilence, blood. Okay, so the sword comes on every side. We better check that. Sword, let's check the word upon. Upon. Let's see. I think it's okay. From all around. Yeah, every side works, I think. And they shall know that Ani Jehovah. I guess the hard one. And there shall be no more a prickling briar unto the house of Israel. See, a prickling briar has to be in contact. So it has to be near Israel. So is the house, he's a prickling briar? You could interpret it that way, and then maybe not. Same with the ring. They behave like one, so it could be. And there shall be no more pricking briar, a thorn unto the house of Israel, nor any grieving thorn, I just said thorn, of all that are round about them. Well, that could still mean the house is in Iran, but I don't think so. Let's check the roundabout word and. Yeah, you could stretch it to say Yemen and Iran, but it really it means those that are surrounding Israel, which I've listed to you already. So we're not going to read it again because this is important. And there shall be no more a pricking briar. What the heck is a briar? A tree? It could be a thorn. A briar, I guess. And then the other one says, unto the house of Israel, nor any grieving. He's talking unto the house of Israel, redeemed Israel. He's talking about the 12 tribes, which is soon to come. Nor any grieving thorn. And so it's a thorn all around. It's around. Around us that despise them. Well, we know who they are, and they shall know that I am Adonai Yehovah. Now I'm in verse 25. Thus saith, and that's Zechariah 12, obviously. Thus saith Adonai Yehovah, when I shall have gathered the house of Israel from the people among whom they are scattered, and shall be kadosh, holy. See, it says, and shall be holy. The Hebrew says holy. Then the next one, it says, in them in the sight. So we got 5 words for one Hebrew word, which means the word iron. So I guess they don't know. Yeah, you could say that. I mean, to make it into English, I guess you would do that. Of the goyim, so in other words, the sight of the goyim, the heathen. Then shall they dwell in their land that I have given to my servant Yaakov. Jacob's trouble, Yaakov's trouble. Great is Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Zechariah 12, not Gog and Magog. Zechariah 12 proceeds by decades. Ezekiel 28:26, 70 years to be precise, the second 70 of Daniel 9:24. 9:24 doesn't say 70 weeks in any single Hebrew manuscript going back to 900 AD. It always says Shavim, 270s. The first 70 is the Babylonian captivity. The second 70 is the same duration, 70 years, because it's the same thing. And that begins with the appearing of the sun and the Son of Man, which preceded, you would see the sun go dark and the moon go to blood, and then the coming return of Yeshua after Gog and Magog and the tribulation is over, which would be preceded by the sun going dark and the moon going dark and the stars falling from heaven and not giving their light. I'm giving you a condensed course in prophecy here. The moon and the sun stuff is found in, amongst other places. You could pick it up in Joel chapter 2. And it's in other places. They shall dwell safely therein, they shall build houses and plant vineyards, yea, they shall dwell with confidence. What's that word really? Yeah, security may be better, but yeah. When I have executed judgment upon all those that despise them round about. That is Zechariah 12. And they shall know that I am Yehovah Elohim. So I thought you would find that interesting. I'm not going to go through today the prophecy with the 40 years of captivity with Egypt. We've done that before. Let me see what's happening in Chatland. Be honest, you know what's happening in Gaza ain't right. Well, let's start with October 7th. It was a holiday in Israel, and they swarmed in, burned mothers and children alive, tying them together with wire, raped women in front of their family, cut fetuses out of a woman's belly in front of everybody, put a baby in an oven and destroyed it that way, burned houses, took people captive, where they were raped and beaten. See, if you want to take a woman captive and you want to beat them, which is what they did to the hostages in Gaza, I'll be a little graphic now because I don't know how else to say it. You beat them in their private parts and in their breasts because they're not going to want to go back and get on TV and say, look what they did to me, take a look. I don't like talking like that, but sometimes you need to hear it. So these are complete, absolute, criminally insane psychopaths that in a civilized country would be in a hospital for the criminally insane. One of these guys, we got his cell phone records. or he sent an SMS, whatever. He said to his mother, you know, I just killed 10 Jews. He was bragging about it to her. And these people said time and time again they're going to reproduce October 7th and kill us all. So if you were Israel, what would you do? Lay down and let them come and kill you? Is that what you would do? What would you do? Would you try to get rid of them so they don't kill you? What would you do? All right, I don't want to go off on that, but it is prophetic as well. Not only do they hate Israel, they hate God. I'm not especially, you know, they have a word for God that we don't have. You know, the Hindus got, what, 900, 2,900 gods? They call them gods. To the Buddhists, Buddha's a god. You know. To the Satanists, Satan's a god. There's only one God, Jehovah. And the world will soon learn that. All right. Let me check my notes. I think I covered what I want to cover. But let me see if I can find that prophecy about Egypt. I think it's probably worthwhile. Let me see. I don't think it's a great big prophecy. I think it's Ezekiel 29:13. Let's go there. Well, let me go there first and make sure. Ezekiel 29:13. No, it goes up higher. Let me see where it starts. I don't want to read 50 verses. Let's go to Ezekiel 29:2. Son of man, set thy, this is Ezekiel 29:2, set thy face against Pharaoh, king of, the word for face is punam, which means face. King of Egypt, and prophesy against him, against all Egypt. Speak and say, thus saith Adonai Jehovah, behold, I am against thee, Pharaoh, king of Egypt, the great dragon that lieth in the midst of the rivers, which had said, my river is my own, and I have made it for myself. Referencing probably Satan there, here as a guess, because he's typically the dragon. Kings are usually not referred to as the dragon. I don't know any instance where they are. But I will put hooks in thy jaws, and will cause the fish of the rivers to stick unto thy scales, and I will bring thee up out of the midst of thy rivers, and all the fish of thy rivers shall stick to thy scales. Well, the fish are going to dry up and stuff, you know. And we were reading about that before, right? Okay, I think Ezekiel, we were doing 28 or something, which is right before this. And I will leave thee thrown into the wilderness, thee and all the fish of thy rivers. Thou shalt fall upon the open fields. Thou shalt not be brought together nor gathered. I have given thee for meat to the beasts of the field and to the fowls of the heaven. I guess that's the fish. And all the inhabitants of Egypt shall know that I am Jehovah, because they have been a staff of reed to the house of Israel, beating us. When they took hold of thee by the hand, thou didst break and rend all their shoulder, and when they leaned upon thee, thou breakest and madest all their loins to be a stand. Therefore, thus saith Adonai Jehovah, behold, I will bring a sword upon thee, and cut off man and beast out of thee, Egypt. And the land of Egypt shall be desolate and waste, and they shall know that I am Jehovah, because he hath said, the river is mine, and I have made it. Behold, therefore I am against thee and against thy rivers, and I will make the land of Egypt utterly waste and desolate, from the tower of the Syene unto the border of Ethiopia. No foot of man shall pass through, nor foot of beast shall pass through it, neither shall it be inhabited 40 years. And I will, 40 years, nobody's going to live there. That's Ezekiel 29, verse 11. It didn't happen. And I will make the land of Egypt desolate in the midst of the countries that are desolate. And, you know, Yemen's going to be desolate. Iran's going to be desolate. I believe Iraq's going to be desolate. They're going to be desolate. You know, we get a lot of land, but there's a lot of desolation, you know, from the Nile to the Euphrates, you know. In the midst of it, Iraq too might wind up desolate, I think. I have to check, I think so. In the midst of the countries, so we're basically going to live in the old part that came to the farthest. Just a lot of this other stuff is going to stay desolate. That's how mad God is with them. In the midst of the countries that are desolate, and her cities, Jeremiah 30:11, it says, I will destroy all the nations that I scattered the Israelites into. It's also found in Jeremiah 46, verse 28, very similar, almost verbatim, not quite, but almost. And that happens in the travail, when the nation is born in a day, which is the end of Jacob's trouble, which is the appearing of the Son and the Son of Man in the clouds, which is preceded, I believe it's preceded by the sun going dark and the moon turning to blood, which is back to Zechariah 12. Okay, and I will make the land of Egypt desolate in the midst of the countries that are desolate, and her cities among the cities that are laid waste shall be desolate. And I will scatter the Egyptians among the heathen, and will disperse them through the countries. Yet thus saith Adonai Jehovah, at the end of 40 years will I gather the Egyptians from the people, whether they have scattered, and I will bring again the captivity of Egypt. This is 40 years later. And now remember, there's 70 years between Zechariah 12 and Gog and Magog. And return to the land of Pathros, unto the land of their habitation, and they shall be there a base kingdom. In other words, they're not going to be rich and glorious. It shall be the basis of the kingdoms, neither shall it exalt itself any more above the heathen, for I will diminish them, for they shall no more rule the heathen. And it shall be no more the confidence of the house of Israel. See, who does that idiot Netanyahu go to negotiate with Hamas? The Egyptians. And the Egyptians are the Slavs that are letting them bring the weapons, smuggle the weapons in through the Rafah crossing, which enabled them to get all the weapons and build all their tunnels. And this nincompoop Netanyahu uses them for negotiators, like he uses Qatar, who supports Hamas. What's this guy, dumb as a bag of hammers, or he's our enemy? What do you think? You think he's as dumb as a bag of hammers and stayed prime minister for over 20 years? Or maybe he's not our friend. And it shall be no more the confidence of the house of Israel, which bringeth lawlessness to remembrance, when they shall look after them. But they shall know that Ani Yehovah Elohim, that I am, no, let me get it right. It says, Ani, that I'm Yehovah. Ani Yehovah. No, they got it all through. Ani Adonai Yehovah. Okay, Ani Adonai Yehovah. And it came to pass in the 20th year, in the first month, first day of the month, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babel, causeth his army to serve a great service against Tyrus, even that would be Lebanon. I believe that's Lebanon. Every head was bald and every shoulder was peeled, yet had he had no wages nor his army for Tyrus, for the service that he had served against it. Therefore, thus saith Adonai Yehovah, behold, I will give the land of Egypt unto Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babel, and he shall take. I believe this happened. But if it didn't happen, it means Trump will take it. Because in that day will I cause the horn of the house of Israel to bud. Well, maybe it didn't happen yet. Therefore, thus, so now I'm in verse 19. Therefore, thus saith Adonai Yehovah, behold, I will give the land of Egypt unto Nebuchadnezzar. Well, Jeremiah 50:51 refers to the President of the United States as this Nebuchadnezzar, not the old time one, king of Babel, and he shall, which is America. The word's not Babylon in the text, it's Babel, which means confusion. So it's saying the king of confusion. Is America confused? And he shall take her multitude, and take her spoil, and take her prey, and it shall be the wages for his army. I have given him the land of Egypt for his labor, wherewith he served against it, because they wrought for me, saith Adonai Yehovah. In that day will I cause the horn of the house of Israel to bud forth, and I will give thee the opening of the mouth of the midst of them, and they shall know that I am Jehovah. Well, that makes it sound like it's going to happen just before redemption. So if I was going to put this together, if I'm right, I could be missing something, but let's put it together. Egypt's on Israel's border. Trump wants his 25-mile by 6-mile wide resort called Gaza. The hostages, all of them, including the 7 Americans, come back Saturday at high noon. I give it a 0%. I don't go 1%. I'll go 0. My prediction, 0. Trump goes in with the military. Egypt's on the border. Trump says, I'm pushing the Gazan population into Egypt, like it or lump it, al-Sisi, and boom. We got a fight. Trump wipes Egypt out, which would be easy. Look, these schmucks, they have tanks, armored personnel carriers, artillery, pistols, rifles, blah, blah, blah. They don't have sophisticated smart missiles. They don't have stealth aircraft. They're sitting ducks for stealth aircraft, which takes out their radar, takes out their anti-missile, anti-aircraft system. Then the regular planes come in and wipe them out. So is it likely, before Trump's country gets destroyed, that we see him knock out Egypt? It looks like it to me. Does it look like it to you? Could I be wrong? I could always be wrong. Does it look like we got a fit? It looks like we got a fit. I know I was supposed to do this before I signed off, so. Does it look like the stage is set for this to start happening? Oh, heck yes! Heck yes. Is it likely that we got this wrong at this point in time? I don't think so. We could, but I don't think so. Egypt stacking their military against the border. They're on their highest alert. Lots of armor on the border with Sinai Peninsula, Israel, and Gaza. The Arab League don't want none of their members taking these Gazans. Does it look like God just handed this to us on a silver platter? I think so. Like, I'm using the word think, I think so. How hard would it be for America to knock out Egypt? Take a few weeks, probably. But remember, Syria fell in 11 days, so it may fall in a week. Guys, we're so close. Now, I just want to share with you, I'm knocking my head against the wall, trying to figure out when Elijah starts working openly and when the temple shows up. So pray I get some answers from the Lord as to when Elijah starts working with the Levites in Malachi 3. And also we want to know about Malachi 4. So if he would say, now I'm not asking, well, in Malachi 4 we do have the appearing of the Son of Man, which I don't think we're going to get the day of the hour for. But I do think we can get the day of the hour for the appearing of the temple. And I think definitely we could get when Elijah starts working with the Levites, or when Elijah and Apostle John get activated to start working boots on the ground in Israel. I think that we could get, because I'm pretty sure it precedes Jehovah and Yeshua appearing in the clouds. Remember, Elijah prepares the way. I don't think he prepares the way just for the physical returning to earth of Yeshua in Revelation 19. Perhaps, and I would even go so far as to say quite likely, he prepares the way for Jehovah to appear in the clouds, seated at the right hand of power. Matthew 24:30, Revelation 1:7, other places. So that would mean he's working with the Levites. The Levites are making the sacrifices acceptable unto the Lord, and that brings the blessings of the Lord on Israel. Then, boom. We see Yeshua and Jehovah in the clouds, and that's the everlasting life day, and that's the day, hey, hip, hip, hooray, right? Okay, I'm old. I do silly things like this, hip, hip, hooray. I'm old. I can do it. I'm old. When you're old, you can do it too. All right. So you can do it now also. You see the pieces coming together? You see any of the church mouthpieces talking like I do? Yet I'm reading you the scriptures all the way through. Am I sitting here? Well, the Lord showed me I was out on a walk last Tuesday at 11:14 and 32 seconds. I was wearing blue shoes, green sneaker, my blue shoes, my green pants, my white jacket. It was 42.3 degrees outside and sunny. They give you, when they do these phony prophecies, they give you all the details about anything but the prophecy. They never give you any clear, they call themselves prophets. These are false prophets. They flooded the internet. They flooded the churches. They never give you anything. They do blah, 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 or they take quotes from script. They don't give you anything definitive. Why don't the churches teach what I just taught? You know why. Come on, you know why. Accept it. It's the best thing for you. Broad and wide is the road to destruction. Many find it. Straight and narrow is the right path, and few find it. You want to be with the many? Go to the Red Cross, get swimming lessons for the lake of fire. Am I being facetious and nasty? You bet. I'd rather jar you into being awake. Or you could spend eternity in heaven with Father God Jehovah and Yeshua HaMashiach. and the apostles and the witnesses and the prophets and King David and Solomon probably and all the rest of it. Or you could be swimming in the lake of fire. And you don't go to the lake of fire for 1,000 years or 1,000,000 years or 1,000,000,000 years or even 1,000,000,000,000 years. It's an infinity amount of time. It can't be measured. It has no end. So they got their Rolls Royces and their mansions and they run around and they make us jealous and stuff like that for a brief time. When you get old, you realize how brief life is. I'm telling you, I couldn't understand it till I got pretty old. You won't. When you're 50, you don't understand it. It takes a long time till you understand it. Why they're not teaching you stuff in the Bible? You know why. I don't have to tell you. Let's see if anybody sent in any prayer requests. Let's check the chat. Remember, I'm open to questions. My email address is in the top of the chat. It's also with the lowest line down in the description box, which is under the video. Somebody, wrote John 10:10. Let's take a look. Yochanan is John in Hebrew. John 10:10. The thief cometh not but for lo to steal and to kill and to destroy. I am come that they might have life and that they might have more abundantly. Steal and kill like their father. A murderer from the beginning and the father of lies. Satan. Okay, back in the live stream. Ready to join the Gaza Country Club. That's a good comment. Okay. Can you afford it? With Trump, it ain't cheap. All right. So I think today came out good. I got what I needed to get across. So much happening all the time. Every day, it's like I got a list in my notes like this of what Trump did. All right. I'm Moshe. Please pray for me and my wife Rivka for our peace, safety, protection, joy, happiness. Pray for healing of our bodies. Pray for our finances. Pray for our animals and pets that are all rescues to be happy, healthy, and whole. And pray for the peace of Yerushalayim. Pray I do better videos. Always push for that. And more information. And pray for... I think I ran out of it. So, in Israel, like, I saw somebody yesterday, it was Thursday, and she's a friend, and she was leaving the house with me and my wife, and she says Shabbat Shalom, but it wasn't Shabbat. But you see, if they know they're not going to likely see you before Shabbat, they say that. But they won't do it before Thursday, so you might want to have that in your reference set for Israel. Starting on Thursday, if you don't believe you'll see the person until after Shabbat, you don't say Shalom when you leave, you say Shabbat Shalom. You probably liked hearing that. Normally you would just say Shalom. So when you see somebody, you got to know who you're giving the greeting to. You don't want to give the greeting to enemies and bad people because then you become a partaker in their evil works. 2 John verses 9 to 11. But Well, you're assuming, you know all the people that believers. We don't say hello, we say shalom, which means peace. And when we leave, we say shalom. And when it's around Shabbat, like Thursday or Friday, we would say Shabbat Shalom, which is have peace on your Shabbat. Shalom means peace. I send my peace unto you, as Yeshua sends his shalom unto you. So I remember when he sent the 70 out, he told them, when you come to a house, send your shalom, send your peace to the house. If the son of man be there, it'll rest on the house. If not, it'll return unto you. I never heard of a single church that ever teaches that, because I think the people would be, if there are any real believers in the church, a big if, but probably, they would send their shalom to the house and it would return back to them, and they go, what the heck is going on? Where they go to the pastor. I don't know how many true believers are in the churches, but probably, I can't, I'm not going to say, I don't know. So I send my Shabbat Shalom to all those who love Yeshua HaMashiach, and a document that got mailed to me that I get it. It went in secure mail too. And that's it, kids. I'm out.